The northeast of Scotland's economy is centred on Aberdeen's oil industry, along with fishing and shipbuilding in its coastal towns. Bound up in all that is a newly restless, shifting politics, and this time round, the distinct prospect of another chapter in Scotland's Tory revival.
We're in the hands of a bunch of lunatics, I'm afraid.
What, the SNP, you mean?
Yeah.
The whole ethos behind Brexit is that we are going to get an awful lot more fish.
Vote Tory, get fish.
Vote Tory, get fish. There you go.
What are you going to do next month in the general election?
Well, I'm not voting Tory. One election after another. It's just been too many, I think.
At this election, the issues are very much about an uncertain future, industries that aren't quite sure where they're headed. We're travelling round the coast to sort of take the temperature of towns and villages across this corner of Scotland. Excuse me. We're journalists, we work for The Guardian, the newspaper. What's your sense of how Aberdeen is doing at the moment?
Not great.
Not great, no.
Oh no, not great.
No, the oil's...
The oils.
Oil and gas is taking a really knock.
Well, since the downturn in the oil, there's very little money coming in. People are losing jobs left, right and centre.
Has it affected you personally?
I was made redundant, yeah.
Definitely is worrying. You don't know what's around the corner.
I'm actually a petroleum engineer,
Right, okay.
and I was made redundant a couple of years ago.
You selling many Argos at the minute?
No.
Really?
They're still as popular as ever, but it is difficult times.
When there's a downturn, it's always the working man that gets it, you know.
Do you know how you're going to vote then?
A Conservative.
You're going to vote Conservative?
Yeah.
You're not a millionaire, right? But you're still voting Tory?
Yeah.
So why?
Because I trust them. I don't trust Jeremy Corbyn.
We're going to Peterhead tomorrow to talk to fishermen.
Good luck with that, you need a translator.
Any of the elections are just pick a heap of rubbish.
Sometimes feels like that. Can we talk to you for a minute?
Carry on and hurry up.
How's the place doing?
All right.
Is it?
A dump.
Is it?
Aye. The fishing industry's all finished. There's about maybe 20 boats here, if that.
20 boats?
If that.
As opposed to maybe 10 or 15 years ago, how many boats were there?
Well, I was to sea for 35 years. You figure you could walk right across the harbour in boats. See you later on.
That's it.
And what's your sense of how the place is doing?
It's okay. Yeah, I've got a nice little pub around the corner, and everyone have a good time in there.
Where are you from originally?
From Norway.
You're from Norway?
Yeah. Why don't you come in now? Have a look.
It's an unexpected detour. Going in a pub at 9:30 in the morning. Yeah.
That's a dodgy fucking paper.
Oh, there you go.
Well, it's a living.
No, don't hide. Come on. Put your smile on. No.
Did you vote in the European referendum last year?
Fiends that they eat or in.
Yeah.
Aye.
Which way did you vote?
Eat. Peterhead used to be a thriving little town with the fishing. Shops are closing down. We've not got a town centre anymore.
I was once in the fishing industry myself, just like my family. The place is just slowly dying.
There's something positive, isn't there?
Yeah, the drinks here are cheap.
Brexit is a big focus of optimism in what remains of the fishing industry. Wow, the Brexit textbook on fisheries.
Brexit, we're hoping it's going to change. It's going to be a big game changer. But we're very, very hopeful.
Bloody hell. So they're not mincing their words, the fishing news. Countdown to new dawn, historic day for Britain. So that sort of captures how most fishing people feel about it. It's a new dawn.
Definitely. Wow. Recent data that's come out is 60% of the fish that's caught in our waters is caught by foreign vessels. So if we can get a share of that, it would be a big change.
100 pence! 20 logs mix! 4 at 120! 4 at 120! Give me an offer in!
And how's the fishing industry here doing, would you say?
Well, slightly recovering a little bit.
Recovering from what?
The EEC saw fit to decommission over 3/4 of the fishing fleet. They also saw fit to curtail the time that the boats were allowed to fish at sea.
98 the minutes!
Whisper it quietly, but not everyone thinks that the EU has been a disaster for the industry, or that Brexit will lead to a new fishing utopia.
In the fishing industry, we've always fought Europe. But if you actually witness what's happened over the last decade and a half, we've seen incredibly good management and every single stock recover, and that was under European management.
The EU's been good on fish stock.
Absolutely.
I thought everybody here didn't like the EU.
They don't.
And the CFP and all that.
They don't. So if we believe that all our European fishing vessels are going to be thrown out of British waters and are going to face bankruptcy, and the British government is going to allow that to happen, I think you're in cloud cuckoo land.
Last question. Who are you going to vote for next month?
I think you've already answered that question yourself.
Go on.
Conservative, I would think.
Who did you vote for last time?
I voted SNP.
And you don't know
I
this
don't
time?
know this
Why
time.
don't you know this
Because
time?
we're not being supportive.
You don't vote SNP. What's your other options?
To jump in the harbour.
I'm curious to know how you feel about the election next month.
Oh, well, no. Oh, well, then I get myself in there.
No. Christ, the mention of it and you all walk away?
Yeah,
Absolutely. Are you going to vote?
Yes. Yes.
Who are you going to vote for?
Well, they're killing it.
It's definitely not the SNP.
Well,
Tell me why not.
Yeah, definitely
I
not
just
the
do not
SNP.
trust them.
And the education up here is just...
Education, health, GP surgeries.
They've done nothing. I mean, 10 years have been in and there's been no improvement. All we get rattled on about is referendum, independence, and that's all she talks about.
Yeah, lots of people here have voted SNP.
Well,
they used to.
That's because they thought
Well, I'm
they were
hoping
going
they
to do
weren't
something.
this time. I hope they weren't this time.
So who are they going to vote for?
Hopefully,
Conservatives,
the Tories.
hopefully.
There is a sense here of cracks really starting to form in the SNP's dominance of Scotland and Scottish politics. Things here are shifting and people talk about the idea that the SNP is somehow obsessed with independence. As a consequence, it's neglecting and ignoring places like this. And if that's your argument, there are sort of real signs of that. This, for example, was part of a local social enterprise focused on regeneration. That's gone into liquidation. Only a couple of months ago, the SNP was loudly making the case for a second independence referendum. Now, with the uncertainties of Brexit, the oil crash and people's sense of a world that regularly falls into chaos, Nicola Sturgeon is sounding noticeably hesitant. If all of those tensions between Leave and Remain and two sides of the independence argument, the political differences between the generations, are reflected in one really big political contest, it's happening here, in the constituency of Murray, where the SNP's leader in the House of Commons, Angus Robertson, is facing a really stiff challenge from the Scottish Conservatives. But particularly among young people here, the SNP's vision of a fairer, self-governing country still has a very understandable appeal. What's it like living here then?
Not much is happening really. No. It's a smaller city, like you ask half the people in Scotland, they won't know where Elgin is.
You've obviously got two very different Scotlands. You've got the central belt, which is one part of Scotland, and then once you go past Perth, you've got this other whole expanse of Scotland, which I think has never been affected by heavy industry, and it's always been conservative with a small c. Conservative Party have essentially been in hibernation for the past 50 years, and this has been the spark.
You might get a Tory MP here, Conservative MP. That's the battle here.
To be quite honest, I don't even know what Tories are, anything like that.
She goes on about how she wants a strong and stable country, but at the same time she walks into talk shows with diamond-studded shoes and stuff like that, and it's stupid to go on about how she's trying to do stuff for the minority when she's just looking out for, like, the rich.
They've crippled the country.
Scotland?
The whole of UK. Take it for the poor and give it to the rich.
It's really difficult to find jobs up here. Like, I've sat 3 interviews in the past 2 weeks, and there's been so many other candidates, and it's just really difficult to get anything out of it.
You're a sort of snookered generation in all sorts of ways, aren't you? It's funny because I don't know whether you know, in this part of Scotland there's a sort of Conservative revival. More people. You're laughing. Why are you laughing?
There was in the local election, which was surprising, but I think a lot of people are fed up with the SNP now as well.
Nicola has changed a bit.
How?
That is just my opinion. I think really she wants to leave her mark in history. That's my opinion.
Making Scotland independent?
Yes, I think she wants to leave her mark.
And in the course of sort of pushing independence, something's been lost.
Yeah.
I was quite gone with it all when I came here 2 years ago.
Mhm.
It seemed very exciting and inspiring. Did you vote for independence?
I did.
How do you feel now?
I was a bit deflated, to be quite honest.
It's changed here, isn't it?
It is. It is. It is. It's the oil industry as well is on its bum. My husband, he's offshore, but he's been at home for a few months. Like, I could see my husband very frustrated.
You do get the sense that things here have changed. You know, in the midst of an increasingly unpredictable, chaotic world, a lot of people seem to have changed their minds about independence. The SNP's out of its honeymoon period. And the one sort of political force that seems to be benefiting from all that kind of tumult is the Tories. The Tories.